Whew. It's humid.
All right, let's start it. So you are broadcasting.
Hi. I don't have it yet, but hi everyone. I'm Margaret Beveridge with Charlotte Vibe. Chris is kind of in the picture, kind of not.
We're getting together.
We're doing technical things. We are coming to you live from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, where your Carolina Panthers played the Rams. We hope you enjoyed the game, even though we lost. I thought it was a very good game. I did.
Hey, there we go.
I thought it was a good game. It was close. Oh, look at my face. Okay, anyway.
She's gonna get nervous.
No,
We're gonna
because
be going live in a second to take you guys' questions.
yes, we are going live to take your questions. We had technical difficulties pre-game, so we're doing post-game question and answer. So if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. I thought it was a good game. It was close.
I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, so don't let go in the mic.
Oh, okay. Yes, so tune in. It's still warm out here, by the way, if anybody's wondering. And it's a little breezy, but fortunately we were in the press box. I feel bad for everybody who was not in the air conditioning.
So yeah, we're a little dark, but I don't care. Actually, I'm gonna adjust that camera just a little bit. It's just a little off center.
Okay.
And so hold this. I'm
Okay.
gonna go back, make a little small adjustment,
Okay.
and then we're gonna go live.
Okay.
Well, we are live.
We are live.
We're gonna go liver.
Liver? That's not a word.
We're gonna go liver.
More live?
We're gonna go liver.
We're going to go lit.
We're gonna go liver.
You keep saying that. That's not a word.
It's my word today.
Lit is a word.
It is. All right, so doing a post-game live Q&A. I know our face is a little bit in the shadow, but, you know,
It's hot.
we didn't want to set up everything because normally we'd be on our way home. But that pre-game show went horrible from a technical perspective, so it was just bugging me and haunting me. So I begged Margaret. I said, Margaret, can you please stay a little bit longer and do a post-game?
I'm a team player.
Yeah, she's a team player. So she is. So we're going to do a little post-game show, take any questions from you all and expound on some of the things that we talked about a little earlier. I know you were able to watch Cam Newton's press conference, so, you know, we'll get some of your take on that.
Okay, he was frustrated.
He was frustrated.
He just walked away at the end, so.
Yeah, as most of the
But
people.
I loved his scarf.
What was the scar?
Like, he had this, like, I don't know, it was like covering his side of his face, and
Yeah,
it was very fashionable.
Okay.
Doesn't he have a fashion line? I don't know.
not that I'm aware of, but
Well, he
you know,
should.
he is a very fashionable person.
Did
but
you see his shorts pregame? That might have been what he was wearing postgame as well. Same outfit.
He would have wore the same outfit.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
He did?
Then, yeah, it was short. It was like
Yes.
dress shorts.
Dress shorts and a suit.
Yeah, it was a dress short suit.
Okay.
I don't know what you call that. Not jorts, but shorts, suit
Okay.
shorts.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you. I just didn't see it. Let me step back here because I was stepping out of the frame. So Carolina Panthers today lost 30-27, and we're here to take some of your questions, give some of our own comments about the game. As Margaret, she's going to man all the questions, so if I miss anything, you get to yell at her because she's the one that's manning all the questions,
Yeah,
right?
but yeah.
So speaking of the frustrations, you know, some of the things that I saw in that locker room, I'd like to give you all a perspective on it so you can know about the team. Some people say, hey, what was the locker room like after the game? Locker rooms generally clear out pretty quickly after a loss. So that was the case today. It was fairly empty. Guys were getting out of there pretty quickly. Every guy that I talked to, you could see that there was some frustration on his face. I was about to say his or her trying to be politically correct, but they were all guys because we're talking about
thank you,
football.
though.
Yeah, right.
There's powder puff.
Right. So, I mean, DJ Moore, he was, you know, he's normally a pretty quiet guy anyways, but, you know, I give some of these guys credit for talking to the media because you know what questions are coming, right? You know, you might have done good things, which I feel like DJ Moore did good things, but he was a part of a lot of errant plays. You know, he had the fumble, and you kind of immediately think back to last year. I know particularly when I was in Washington watching that game, I believe he had a fumble after a catch, and then I think he had a return fumble, so he had like two. And that's immediately what you think of when you saw that today, but I didn't feel like that was going to be the case. So he had to speak about that. He had to speak about the lateral, and which, you know, was it his fault? Was it Cam's fault? And then he had to speak about the option play or whatever that was. So it's three plays that he was part of that weren't didn't go too favorable, so he was visibly frustrated. Mario Addison was seen really, really upset. He spoke about the fact that, you know, they have new schemes. They do a 3-4, they do a 4-3, and Mario kind of felt like, hey, we got a lot of good pass rushers on this team. Give us an opportunity to get to the quarterback, let 4 guys go and rush, and he didn't see that. And he just said, you know, speaking for the defensive line, that was very frustrating that they didn't get to have 4 people rushing as much as he felt like they should have rushed. And, you know, I don't think that's a big deal as far as coaches and players, but it just speaks to the fact that these guys are frustrated and want to win today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good game overall. I think even though we lost, we played really hard, and it was a close game. That's more exciting than a blowout, right, in any sport, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I am a fan of the Panthers, obviously, but I'm also a fan of good plays. So, and I think that the Rams did put up good plays, obviously.
Yeah.
What is the word I'm looking for? They
capitalized on our mistake.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's some learning that can be done. Cam in the post conference was frustrated. There's things that, you know, and Ron was as well.
You remember his reply to the guy asking him about the lateral play, like whether or not it went backwards, and Cam's response?
What did he say? He's like, it doesn't matter at this point, right?
Right.
He's like, it's over now. So
yeah.
That was a confusing call, though.
Yeah, the explanation from the ref seemed a little confusing.
Right.
Oh, no, not on that play. It wasn't a confusing call. You might be talking about the play where they challenged the
right. Oh, you're right. The fumble.
Right.
And then they called it an incomplete pass. Can it be both? That is what I was talking about. But sorry.
Yeah, and I get that. My perspective on that was the play was ruled an incomplete pass, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to change it, you have to be able to see that play through to make the full decision, right? Mm-hmm. So they say, okay, visual looked like he caught it, or he did catch it, but they couldn't see where his knee was. So it's like to overturn it, you got to see the full cycle to be able to make a ruling, and they couldn't see the full cycle.
Gotcha.
Yes, he caught it, but was his knee down before the fumble? We don't know. So then we have to go back to what the original call was.
Is Cam healthy? Keith asked that. Keith, in the post conference, Cam said that his shoulder and his foot were doing good. He said that he has to keep an eye on it, but he said he felt fine in today's game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is an opportunity that, again, normally we only do a pregame, but we're doing a postgame because that pregame was so horrible. Taking your questions, anything that you all have about today's game that you want to know about that you didn't get to see or get information about, let us know. So I know one thing that I want to point out, we were in the press box talking about the play where I think it was Waddell. I could be totally wrong on that, but the Rams guy took a knee. It was Eric Waddell?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Took the knee from Christian as he went to jump over him, and he had a very, very bloody face, and we got some information about why that was.
Yes, it was the mic in his helmet, which I didn't realize that could be, you know, he was bleeding everywhere, and it was kind of iffy.
It freaked you out?
Yeah, no, it didn't freak me out. It's just like, oh my God, there's blood. So yeah, that's not a normal thing.
Right.
Sometimes you see that in football, but I mean, I just don't like it. Looking at it, let's go.
So yeah, he had a mic. You know, the defensive guy, they get a mic as well as one guy on the offense. So he was the guy who wore it for the Rams, and that contributed to the lacerations on his face. Anything from today's game that you want to talk about?
No, like I said, I think that the game was good overall. I think Cam got a lot. I mean, everybody got a lot. I think this might be unpopular, but I think Panthers fans are kind of wishy-washy. It's like, oh, we're doing good, now we're going to cheer for them. Oh, they're doing bad, forget them. It's like they're non-committal. So is what I feel. So, you know,
I think they fully commit to liking the team.
Okay.
And they fully commit to being passionate about whether or not they're winning or losing. So they're quick to jump on. There's a quickness to say, oh, the ship's sinking.
Right.
To jump off the boat because everybody's so passionate.
Right.
And you know, we could be a little bit more patient, but you know, fans can be fandom, and sometimes it happens.
And something good that I liked that Cam did say was that you know, we have to treat winning more sacred at Bank of America Stadium because this is our turf, you know. And so I liked that he still recognizes that we are cheering for him and we are here for him and the whole team. So I like that he said that.
Yeah, protect the home field. You know, starting out it's a good opportunity. They got 2 games at home to start out 2-0. You know, we're already on 1, which I'm not surprised at. Not saying that I think that we're going to be bad, but we just did get through playing the NFC champions from last year, a favorite to go back to the Super Bowl this year. And I feel like what you saw in this game was both teams kind of getting things ramped up, you know, getting their feet back wet for the first half. Second half, I think the Rams did a much better job getting things together, making adjustments, and getting in full stride, and we just weren't able to do so. They were able to answer our call as far as when we scored. They came back and scored, but then we only got a field goal. And then Greg Olsen, if you watched our post-game video, he talked about the fact that they couldn't capitalize off the Bradbury interception. I feel like that could be a momentum builder, and we come back and we don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think we didn't win, but I think we did good. I keep saying that, but I really do think 3 points is not that bad of a loss. We could have been it could have been 0, right? 30-0. So,
we could not have been 30-0.
Well,
that is not my Panthers.
Okay, so Taylor says, honestly, I think this list was mostly rust. Look at the past most week 1 openers for the Panthers, and they were never that good.
Oh, so he's saying that we always start off bad in week 1?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I get from that. Rams didn't really look that good either. It was much rust for both teams. Do you think the Rams played their best? Or did you think they played as good as they could to beat us?
Well, I think a lot of things considered it was a week 1 game, right?
Right.
You know, players aren't playing much. Actually, the Rams don't play any of their primary starters in the preseason. So I don't care what you do. If you don't play in game action, you're going to be a little rusty the first time you get game action. They also had a little bit of weather to deal with, the heat. You know, they're used to practicing out in L.A. They had a nice hot game here in Charlotte. So I think they slowly ramped up as both
LA,
teams
right?
are doing. Not like this. It's a lot cooler. It's a lot nicer.
Yeah, not as humid. Humidity.
Not as humid at all. So, yeah, I think L.A. didn't play their best game, but they played a game that you would expect being the first game of the season.
So can we get Curtis Samuel more touches?
I don't think that he lacked touches. I had to look back at the numbers. I know, DJ Moore, I mean, honestly, we have a lot of weapons on offense, right? You got Greg Olsen, you got Curtis Samuel, you got DJ Moore, and you got Christian McCaffrey. That's 4 guys. Not to mention you got the guy who can call his own number 1, Cam Newton, that can run the ball, right? So you can say Cam Newton run the ball. So I think throughout the season you're going to see all these guys kind of share around and get a game with good touches. It kind of just depends on what the game plan is, what the other team is giving them. And I don't feel like we didn't do anything enough of today. I just felt like it was the Rams just doing better at their jobs than we were doing, at least on the offensive side.
Right.
I feel like that was the case.
Right. I mean, I think Greg Olsen got a lot of flack, but he was thrown over. Cam overthrew to him. But I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that they have a lot of time to think about it. Ron Rivera said, okay, I'm giving them an hour, and then we're moving on to Thursday because it's a quick week. So week 2 is actually technically still in week 1, and so we'll be back Thursday.
Yes, we will be back Thursday.
Late,
so
8:20 kickoff.
Right. So we're going to see if there's a few more questions. If not, we're going to wrap up again. Just want to do a quick video because of what happened on that pregame. We will do another pregame show. It's always an hour and a half before kickoff. I forget the exact time. I think you just said it. But an hour and a half before the game on Thursday, we'll be back pregame taking your questions about that upcoming matchup. Any more questions that we missed, or was that it?
No, that's all for now.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm Chris Jenkins. This is Margaret Beveridge. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye.
And we're still live for a second until I cut this off. Can't find the button to stop the video, guys, but I'm gonna find it any second now.